Why is one of the best baseball players of all time not in the Baseball Hall of Fame? A lot of you think I'm talking about Pete Rose, ball player from the 70s, who was banned for gambling. I'm not. I'm talking about a ball player that played in the early 1900s by the name of Shoeless Joe Jackson, who was banned from life in 1920 due to the 1919 Black Sox scandal. Now, Shoeless Joe Jackson grew up as a young man in South Carolina and grew up very poor. This played a big role in his life, as in where he, rather than getting to go to school as a child, he got to go to the mill and started working at the mills at the age of 6 years old. Now, like I said, this played a big role in his life. He was uneducated. He could not read. He could not write. He worked in the mills his entire life up until the point to where he was 13, where he started playing on the mill baseball team, is where he kind of really found something, where they found out, he was a very talented pitcher. He was such a good pitcher. In fact, he threw so hard, he broke a player's arm. This led to other players not wanting to bat against him, so they moved him to the outfield, where he quickly became kind of a town sensation and a local celebrity, known for his hitting prowess and how good he was at a young age. Now, reasons he should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame, I believe they speak for himself when you get down into his stats. Now, he started playing minor baseball as a 20-year-old, and he started originally playing for the Cleveland Navs. And in his first year, when he got moved up into the major leagues, he set a rookie record for batting average at 408. That record of 408 for rookie batting average was second in the whole league, only behind Ty Cobb, and that record still stands today. That record still stands today, and I don't see it being beaten anytime soon. And so now he won the 1917 World Series with the Chicago White Sox, and missed the whole 1918 season because of the World War. He went and had to work in the shipyards and the docking yards, and so he missed all the 1918 series, but was back in 1919 and was playing as good as ever and led his team back to the World Series. This is where the Black Sox scandal comes into place. Now, 7 of his teammates gathered, and they agreed to throw the game. This is where his lack of reading and writing also comes into play as well. I believe that because of his name, because of how big of a celebrity he was, they tried to get him to be involved as well, where he wouldn't have anything to do with it. His whole life, he said he never had anything to do with it, and he wouldn't have anything to do with it. Yet he marked a paper, I believe he marked a paper with the X, like he would when he would have his wife sign his contracts and then just make his mark of marking an X. I believe that is something that probably transpired. But yet his stats, like I said, his stats speak for himself. That World Series, he set a World Series record for hits, 12 of them. That stood until 1964. He had 0 errors in the outfield. He was flawless. His play was flawless in the outfield, no errors. So he had the most hits by any player of either team. So I don't see how a guy that's throwing a game could have the highest batting average in the series, have the most hits in the series on either team, have no errors, and set a World Series record. So those, including the fact that a grand jury took this was taken to a grand jury where they were indicted, and him and his 7 other teammates were found innocent. When he and his 7 other teammates were banned from baseball, his 7 other teammates, they all admitted their guilt. They admitted their guilt, and they said that Shoeless Joe Jackson was innocent. He did not have anything to do with it. And the commissioner still banned him from life in the middle of the prime of his life. Now that is a travesty in my opinion. Any ball player knows what it's like to have the twilight of their career cut out short it's terrible. It's hard. I know a little bit what it's like being a former ball player, and I couldn't imagine. So the fact of with his world records, with his records in the World Series that stood for so long, no errors in the outfield, you know, his teammates saying that he was innocent, his teammates, the grand jury claiming his innocence. I don't understand how people can still think this man had anything to do with the 1919 scandal. And I believe that he should be in the World Series and the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. And thank you for listening to my speech.